Boom! Jake here. Today we're going to be talking about a very special game, as you can already see. Halo 5 Guardians for the Xbox One. Only for the Xbox One. How should we start? Well, I guess I should start out with my personal experience with Halo. Mountain Dew. My experience with Halo is that it's kind of the same thing with Call of Duty. I'm not very pro in any of them. I'm not like top tier or anything. But when it comes to franchise experience, I've played every Halo that they've put out, even the non-canonical ones, even the ones that aren't like numbered or anything, like Halo Wars and the soon-to-be upcoming Halo Wars 2. I've played all the Halos, so I could say at least that I understand completely where the series is and where it came from. If I had to pick a favorite Halo, that's a tough one. I guess I would have to pick Halo 3, because that's where I mainly started with Halo, and that's where a majority of my memories are when it comes to me and my friends playing Halo. Like, playing Halo 3 now gets me nostalgic, and there's not a lot of games like Halo 3. And I have a skeleton script over here, so that way if I lose track of anything that I'm saying, I can come back. But Halo 5. I don't even know. Like, I love it. It's a really good game. I really, really enjoyed it. I still enjoy it. I guess I should just start off with the bullet points. I already told you my history with Halo, so let's go on with the story with Halo 5. There's one thing I want to address first. People, like, a lot of people are complaining, at least the complaints that I've seen, they're mad that this game's sequel baits. What part of a new trilogy don't you get? Like, this is the Two Towers. This is like watching, complaining that this sequel baits is like watching the Two Towers and being like, well, that didn't answer anything. Of course it didn't, because it's still got one more. And you got to set up for it. So, yeah, that complaint's kind of stupid, but when it comes to the story of the game, complaints aside, it's really solid, in my opinion. I really liked it. It flows fine. It's very reminiscent of Halo 2, where you have two storylines going on at the same time. You're playing with Master Chief, and then you're playing with another character, in this case, Spartan Locke. And Spartan Locke, surprisingly, which is ironically my next point, is kind of likable. Like, when I first saw it, like when you see the posters, you see Spartan Locke and you see Master Chief, and then you see their fire teams with them. I didn't really think that they were going to be able to flesh out a whole other new antagonist-protagonist along with a fire team at the same time, with the limited amount of time that they had, as this campaign is really right in the middle. It's not too long, but it's not too short. But surprisingly, with Spartan Locke, they do it well enough to where it feels like he could be, like, he is an integral part of the story. Like, he's now a part of the Halo series. Like, and he can stand right up there with Master Chief. The rest of the Spartans and the rest of the fire team, not so much. They are, I can't remember what the line said specifically, but Master Chief's fire team, their reasons for supporting him is thrown out in a sentence. And it's not even in a cutscene, it's just in passing dialogue. They just say, oh, well, they've been fighting forever, so they're family. Boom. And while that, like, maybe that could have been fleshed out a little bit more when it came to game time, or at least a campaign, or at least a cutscene, for what they had to do, I guess that was fine. I can't tell you any of the names of any of the people that were on the fire team. So, I understand why they're there. It's to make it so that way it's co-op. I understand that the family bond thing is more important than reason, I guess. But, it's just a trope that I was thinking that they weren't going to particularly use in this kind of series. As since this game, that is one thing that I noticed. I'm jumping all around. That is one thing that I noticed, that this game is rated teen, and I wouldn't expect a T-rated game to be one of the more mature games. I mean, like the M-rated games, like we all know that Halo doesn't really need to be rated M, as Bungie was very stingent on like making sure that there were no curse words and making sure that there was really nothing in them to be considered wholly rated M. So I like the decision of making this rated T. Not only does it preserve it for all ages, it makes it so that way all ages can play it without having to like get a parent or guardian in there. But anyway, back to what I was saying. The story. Thank you, Skeleton Script. One thing that this game does include, though, in the story that I thought was really cool are hub world missions, where they're missions that are specifically tailored to just talking to people. That they are missions that aren't really too long if you just blast through them, talk to only the key people. You can beat them within 5 minutes, if even that. But like it actually gives you the opportunity to go around and talk to NPCs, learn a little bit more about the world, flesh out the lore a little bit, or at least with the situation that's going on. And I thought that was really, really cool. I've never seen a game that's as huge as this, and especially in a first-person shooter, do that. It's a level that goes out of its way to say, like, yeah, you can beat the level in like 3 to 2 minutes. But if you want to learn more about the story, learn more about the world, learn more about what other people think, you can. And it's cool because Sean Schimmel is one of the miners in one of the hub world levels, and he's very clearly doing the Goku voice, and that's kind of fun. I just kind of imagined it was Goku as a Spartan, and that's pretty cool. So yeah. Story-wise, I'm not going to get into spoilers, but I feel like this ends on a perfectly Two Towers kind of the Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers kind of ending. It sets specifically up for the third one. You don't get this isn't a really compartmentalized story. It's very clearly the first part of a two-parter. It's not really confined to itself. You know that there's going to be another one. But again, if Lord of the Rings can get away with it, I don't see why this can't too. And I feel like it does it warrantedly, because we didn't know, like, it wasn't one of those stories where like we think that it's going to be a trilogy. Like, we already know that it's going to be a trilogy. So we should have already known that this is going to be the sequel in the next one, or that this was already going to be a sequel, and that there's going to be another sequel after this. The music, I don't want to say anything more about it because that goes into spoiler territory, and this is a game that does deserve to be played, it was from beginning to end when it comes to story. The music, I think, is phenomenal. I know that Marty O'Donnell is no longer directing, or not really directing. He's no longer making any of the music. But I feel like this music has a little bit more punch to it. It's more situational based. Whereas Marty's music sometimes felt like it was just like lingering, like it was just kind of going with the motions, and not even the correct motions. It was just kind of there. This one feels very situational based, and like it feels like what would be there for a sci-fi fantasy movie. And like when you're in it, like when you're fighting when you're fighting bad guys, like it's playing fighting bad guys music. You know what I mean? Like it's very punchy, it's very edgy, it's very fast, I guess would be a accurate depiction. And I'm very glad that the Halo theme is back for a new Halo game. It was absent during Halo 4 because they were having some right issues along with it. And I can understand that, but in my opinion, with this kind of theme, with the already like situated music with the series, The Halo theme doesn't belong to Bungie. It doesn't belong to Microsoft. It doesn't belong to 343. It belongs to Halo, in my opinion. I think that this kind of music, like the main theme, that is a theme that belongs to Halo. It shouldn't have anything to do with rights, and it shouldn't have anything to do with any one company not deciding not to give the license of the theme to another company. I understand that's all legality, but I think that the Halo theme belongs to Halo, and it should be in Halo. Graphics, along with the music, as I've already said, with the music, it's really good. It runs at a consistent 60 frames per second. I haven't had a drop on me. I do notice that there a lot of the times during single player and a lot of times during multiplayer, which I'll get into, the characters that you look at run at 30 frames, and like specific items in the game world still run at 30 frames, whereas you're running at 60 frames. It's really small and it's really minute. You have to look in order to see them, but when you do see them, it just kind of But other than that, the graphics are phenomenal. Of course, they take full advantage of the new gen, next gen or current gen technology. You can see the stitches in like their armor plating and all of that. I don't know if they're stitches or whatever, but you know, they look phenomenal. They look really, really good, and they are exactly what I would expect from this kind of development team, and with this kind of money, like with this kind of hype. I know PC players laugh at the statement 60 frames per second, but you know, I'm not a PC gamer. I think the 60 frames is now paramount to a game. I don't think there should be any games running at 60 frames. I don't think there are any games that should be running at 30 frames anymore. I feel like, you know, I know, again, PC gamers are laughing right now, but regardless, it runs at a 60 frames per second, and it's really good. It looks great. Multiplayer. As I've said on a lot of other videos, I'm not really too huge into multiplayer. I want to be with this game, and I want to be within the next game that I'm going to purchase. Like I even have the Elite controller. But as a person that's not too competitive into the multiplayer, I can say that this is one of the most fun Halos I've played. And I know that a lot of classic Halo players are going to be laughing at that statement, but you know what? They can deal with it. I think the multiplayer on this is just a blast. It's a ton of fun. And I've removed my launch goggles, so I'm looking at this from like a long-term perspective kind of view. And I have a lot of fun with the multiplayer. The ADS feels original. It feels tight. It feels I've yet to lag out of a match, and you all know my internet's not that good, but I have yet to lag out of a match. Every match I play with my friends, like, I've never had trouble getting into a fire team with them. It's always been super smooth. There's the weapons I feel currently, as of this video, are very balanced. I don't really feel like there's too many cheap weapons other than hi Skype. I don't really feel that there's too many other cheap weapons other than like power weapons, but of course they're power weapons. However, I will point out there are some glaring omissions from the multiplayer and from the content. It's really weird to see a Halo game that doesn't have Forge mode. Forge mode's coming, but it didn't make it on release. Like, I don't want to take away a point for it, but like, Forge is like pantomime, or is paramount to a Halo experience, I feel. And for there to not be a Forge mode at the time of launch feels really weird to me. I'm not that much of a forger, but I know that this is a big deal for a lot of people, so I can empathize with them. I'm not really sure why it didn't make the release window. I'm sure they're still working on it, but just knowing that it's not there just feels weird. It feels like a glaring omission. And that's just kind of the same with a lot of the Warzone maps. Like, we only get 3 Warzone maps. And I know that they're huge. I know this isn't easy stuff to do. But it's just when in comparison to a lot of other games like Battlefield 4 and stuff like that, in games like that, it just feels weird. Like there's some glaringly lacking content. You know, but really, overall, hang on, let me go to the script to make sure that I didn't miss anything. I didn't miss anything. Yay! All in all, complete review, complete thoughts of my complete thoughts on the game. It's a great game. It really is. It's one of the few games that I purchased this year that I could say is wholeheartedly worth your $63.59. I really, really do like. I really like it. It's I dug the story. I dig the multiplayer. I'm digging all the extra content, even though there's some lacking content in there that is very glaringly omitted. I still feel like this is a very worthy purchase. I spent $250 on the collector's edition, and that came with a statue. So you know, I have to think something of it, right? I don't like giving scores, but if I had to score it, I would say 8 out of 10. You know, I don't like giving scores when it's not a movie because I feel like this can change, whereas movies can't. But that's way off topic. But yeah, Halo 5 Guardians for the Xbox One, definite purchase. And if it goes on sale, even more of a purchase, even more of a definite purchase. And the fact that there's no season pass and that and that the maps will be free, also awesome. I love that practice. Of omitting a season pass. But yeah, Halo 5 Guardians for the Xbox One. Definitely pick it up. This is the end of the video. I'm going to push that button now that says stop. It's right here. You guys can't see it, but I can. And I'm going to push it. There it goes.